So when I went to Atlanta, man, I was searching. I was running. I left Arkansas, went to Atlanta, going to try to better myself. For a little while, I was doing this. I got into the church and I was seeking. And I had my kids, my last two children was with me in Atlanta. And I was doing wonderful. I was working. Matter of fact, I was working on the railroad. Jay, I was making almost $100,000 a year working on the railroad. So it wasn't like I was hurting for no money. Okay, I fooled around and got into a relationship, and it didn't go the way I planned. It sent me back to my comfort zone, and it was a spiral effect. Everything that I had worked my way back to, getting my self-pride back, getting my children in a proper school, and getting me a home down there, everything I had worked for, it took me about 1.5 years to lose it all.
So you talked about being under a drug dealer's control during that time frame.
Man, I had fooled around and run into some friends down there. At least I thought they were some friends. But they was a couple of them was big time. I mean, they were big time. They were supplying half the town. And they had got to the point where they'd come to the house and do this and do that while my daughters was at school. And no drug activity was ever going on around my kids. I didn't do that, and they respected my household for that. But they made sure things was going good at the house. And then I had got one night, I had went to work and was high. I was high. And I crushed my hand in a door at work. I mean, I almost chopped my thumb off. And I was high. I was real high. But I didn't go to the doctor at work because if I would have, they would have made me take a drug test. So I went home and had one of my daughters pee in a cup for me. And then I went to the doctor. And that took me, I was off work for almost 2 years behind that. But during them 2 years, those guys made sure my household was straight. Certain things while my kids was at school, make little drug transactions and stuff, they kept me high. So
it was a form of rehabilitation while you had suffered that injury. Were you also using the drugs as an excuse for the injury? Or using the injury as an excuse for the drugs? I'm sorry.
No, I was just getting high. Ain't no sense of me blowing no smoke. No, I was just getting high because it was going to heal. It was just going to take a little time because I crushed all my bones in my hand, in my thumb. So that wasn't no easy heal. But all that time, man, all while I was in the healing process, I was getting high and I didn't stop. It seemed like the more I got high, the more I wanted to get high. And it was just like a cycle that I couldn't break. All while I'm going through this now, I'm still raising my daughters by myself. Their mother wasn't in the picture. I'm doing the best I could raising them, trying to be a father and still trying to stay loyal to the drug man. I made it through that. But in the process of that, I had a little hiccup with one of the drug dealers. Ended up going to jail. So the finances wasn't right at my house. And one of the ladies that in the school PTA, I was president of the PTA, but one of the ladies had mentioned something to her about my light getting ready to get cut. She not knowing, she trying to help. So she went to some of the other ladies, hey, well, Mr. Traylor going through some changes, and they end up saying something to the folks at the school. So the folks at the school told this social worker. The social worker come to the house and I done flat out cussed her out. I'm talking about them went off on them. And then myself, I'm thinking, well, they finna try to take my kids. So I called my mama. I need to send the kids home too, this didn't happen, that didn't happen. I called her on a Tuesday. Wednesday evening, my mama was at my house to get my kids. And mama don't drive now, not like that. Not at that time. She didn't have somebody bring her to Atlanta to get my kids. Because I told her, Mom, I'm scared they may try to come back and get my kids. I clowned on this woman. I told her to get out of my house and then call her all kind of everything I could think of. I sent the kids home, Mom. And all while out, during that process, man, everything just went downhill. So I found myself homeless in Atlanta. And that same lady that had mentioned something to the school saw me walking one day. And she said, Isaac, what you doing? I said, well, she said, well, look, come. Get in. She made me get in the car with her. She took me to her house and she fed me. And I didn't know what she was doing, but she was in her other little room typing, now what city was that you said you was from and this and that and the third? And I told her this and that. She came back with a bus ticket. She told me to go home.
Was this before your father passed away?
Nah, this was all before Daddy passed away.
Okay, you hit rock bottom. You're at your friend's house. You call her the guardian angel lady.
I call my white mama.
This is not the place for you now.
Yeah.
Okay. So now, how's your father's death and your nephew's belief in you? How did that actually come about?
Well, I moved back to Arkansas. See, I had been back roughly, about 3-4 years. I got back. I was doing good you get around them same old folks that you were hanging around before you left the first time.
Right.
And there you go, right back in that cycle. And that's why I tell anybody, you got to change your people and places and things, man, if you want to do better. You can't hang around the same folks and expect You can't live in the same environment where you got sick.
Right.
Not if you want to do better. But once I moved back to Arkansas, I got myself back on my feet, got me a car, got me another job. But I got around them same old folks, man. And here it is again. I'm right back smoking dope. And it didn't take but a minute. I was right back, man. I'm getting high every day. And it got to the point where I didn't even want to work, because if I went to work, I couldn't get high. So I didn't
you was enjoying that high so much. It
had become a
lifestyle. It was,
I mean, and when I tell you, and when I say I got high, I wasn't playing. But I knew all the dope dealers. I could go any time of day or night. I could go, because I had a relationship with them. Hey, man, I could go at 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning when other folks couldn't. And during the day, I would be running errands for them, taking me with drugs. Sometimes late at night, I have more dope than some of the little petty dope dealers. They would call me, hey, man, what you got? What you want? It's going to cost you. But ran all day, and I be having me just as much dope as some of the other ones. I'm trying to hang out. I'm trying to trick off. I'm trying to just hang out. But that was my lifestyle, man. And I did that for couple of years. I didn't want to get high. All I needed was a car and a cell phone, and I'm good.
Well, what happened? How did you end up going to jail then?
Mama, my sister, my oldest sister, had came and got my mama and brought her to Lyra. So I was in Camden by myself. And one day I was hungry, Jay, and I went in the store and stole a 99-cent pack of bologna. Too much pride to ask somebody. So I went and got me a pack of bologna and walked out. And in the process of walking out the store, somebody saw me. They tried to stop me. I got in my car and drove off. They didn't get me then, but I got pulled over traffic stop. They said, we arresting you for robbery. I said, man, oh, boy, you talking about cuss the police out. Oh, I snapped. Man, I ain't robbed nobody. This, that, and the third. But I went to jail, Jay, for 84 days for a 99-cent pack of bologna.
So three months in jail over 99-cent bologna.
Yeah. That was the best thing out for me, because God had to slow me down. And that was the only way he was going to slow me down. Just put me somewhere where I couldn't manipulate my way out of. Couldn't talk my way out of that. Once I heard them dope cling, cling, it was over. It wasn't no, hey, man, let me talk to you. Let me do this. Let me do that. No, it wasn't none of that.
Now, Talk County Jail. It's hell. That's what I heard.
It were people that come in now that had been to the pen. Said they'd rather be in the pen than in the county. They treated you like garbage. It was always cold in there. I mean, it was miserable. And they had that late night water drip. You hear it. Drip, drip. I mean, that would drive you crazy in the middle of the night. That's what you hear. Like a mind game they played, and you couldn't turn it off. When I was locked up, they put my dad in hospital, and I was in there, was praying, God, just let me see my daddy one more time. And it was a white guy in there locked up with me. And he walked up to me one day and said, man, look here, you gonna preach. I said, man, if you don't get the F away from me, I'm trying to get me a little sleep. I'm not finna do no preaching. But he stayed in there about 2-3 days after that. And I found myself preaching in every evening out of a daily bread and a little old adventure Bible. And Jay, when I said God was using me then and I didn't even know it, I would just get up in the middle of the night and start writing. And it lights out. I would walk down there and I start preaching to the guys in the park. They received me well. They would stop gambling. They would stop playing cards and everything until I got finished. And God was just showing me, hey, look, man, if you just submit to me, I could do some things. And once I got out, that was short-lived because I went right back to doing what I was doing. But I got out. When I got out, my daddy lasted about maybe a month. I got out in March. My daddy died in May. I got to see him. I got to go spend a weekend with him, talk to him. But we would talk before he passed. We would talk on the phone. When my daddy died, that was the pivotal point in my life, the changing point of my life.
Your father passes away. Your sister distanced themselves. When he passed away, they really didn't trust you being a part of the preparation.
I ain't going to say they distanced myself. I'm going to say that they didn't know how to deal with it.
Okay.
And this is just my thinking, because I had nothing to offer. I had no money to contribute. I had nothing. And therefore, they didn't consult me with none of the preparations of the funeral, none of the decisions in reference to my daddy. And that hurt. If you ain't never been hurt before, that's the hurtful feeling for your immediate family to shun you like that.
Like you say, you didn't have anything to offer.
Yeah.
But was there also some trust factors there with you?
Well, I don't know if it was trust factors or not. I mean, I don't know, Jay. I never talked to him, but I just kind of left it alone because I wanted to act a fool. I wanted to just really show out. I can remember the day when we went to the funeral home. My siblings, they just know that I was finna come in there and cuss everybody out. I wanted to. They knew me too. My nephew stopped me. He said, Unc, I believe in. He said, you gonna make it through this. You all right. And I'm gonna tell you, when I got in there and I looked at my daddy laying in that casket, all I could hear my daddy saying with me was, you gonna be all right. Them same ones that counted you out, they gonna see you rising again. And that's why I work the way I do now. It's not that I got nothing to prove to nobody, but my drive now, as a kid, Every son wants their daddy to be proud of. And when my daddy died, how could he be proud of a homeless drug addict? So I'm proving this to myself. I'm making my daddy proud by what I'm doing now. And my purpose now in life is to just help as many people as I can with the resources that I have. It wasn't an easy journey. It still ain't easy. I've been clean now for some years, but I also don't put myself in no compromising position to where I got to choose my sobriety over wanting to hang out with somebody, because it's not that serious to me anymore. I like waking up in my right mind. I like waking up with some money in my pocket. I like waking up not wondering if somebody's looking for me because I owe him some money. But my life is good now, Jay. I'm living my best life till the day that my daddy died so I could live. He knew it was going to take something drastic for me to change my lifestyle. And I think to this day, when he closed his eyes, he knew that was going to change me. And it did. I'm grateful to my father for the things he taught me along the way. All of them wasn't pretty, but I learned some stuff from him. I learned some things what not to do. And I learned a lot of things what to do. I wouldn't trade it for the world. I wouldn't go back and swap daddies with nobody, because my daddy was my dad. And I learned a lot from him. I love him.